I'm going to tell you a story, but quick side note on the mention of banners. Since the monkey banner went up, we're going to say it went up yesterday. So today, 11:41 p.m., 10/31/2024, 19 minutes before end of evening, the fish basket manifestation, or the fish basket banner went up. We have our fish basket banner up. So screw you, Michael. It's an important one for today. I'm just saying. It is not an important one. So, I started to get into this earlier. So, once upon a time, I had this dream. Right around Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, I think, 2012 specifically. And this dream basically goes like this. Me, as like, I think I'm the orange one. There's like me and a female aspect, and like I think I'm the orange one, and she's the blue one. And like we keep going back and forth through life and life and life and life and life and life, and basically it's a dream where I think I'm remembering reincarnations, and essentially the cusp, like there is this box that like we're both like fighting over who opens first, and it turns out like when you open the box you die and you go into the next life, which believe me was nothing but a shock to me in that dream. But but the end of like the cusp of the dream, like the whole point of it is essentially that like I and this woman, who is probably just like a bunch of different women, honestly, um, is essentially like the dream's like a metaphor because dreams are good like that. For essentially all 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 reincarnations of humans, but like specifically it's for me because it's my dream. However, it shouldn't not apply to other humans. And the basic gist of it was like we're all the sun and the moon trying to just experience being human. It's a pretty nice ride, as long as we don't have a freaking idiot failure of an angel trying to boss us all around with compulsion because it's too pathetic to do anything else. Point of fact, part of the reason the sun and the moon want to be human might be to get even against that idiot Tabata Bada Asatya Dula. Anyway, that is the cusp of the dream. Pra'i gachatis vasantaram gachati karmakarodi abasarati nistati saminde. So, I had a dream. Oh, yeah. I had a dream about return, of course. Vasataram gachati. Sorry, I'm just like, either I'm remembering that night or that idiot duelist trying to grab my memories to try to go back in time to that night because it's stupid that way. Or I might actually only be able to do that. Huh. Interesting. Anyway. So I move out of 80 Hampstead Street in Methuen. I moved to 171 South Pleasant Street in Haverhill. So yeah, obviously like different people live there now, so don't harass them or anything. Yeah, actually, by the way, Michael, if you've been harassing the people who live at like Nason Street, for example, because I don't live there anymore, and you're just like too butthurt to let go of like literally any place I've ever lived, knock it off. You're not doing yourself any favors. Anyway, Karma Karoti, do work. So, right after I moved, I started working with this dude Kurt, who was actually born 2 days before me, and this other dude named Chris, who actually went to jail for like having a suitcase full of drugs. Like, if you're gonna collect drugs, don't just keep a massive suitcase of a thing. It makes prosecuting you extremely easy. Anyway, by the way, he's out. Good for you, Chris. I miss you, dude. Anyway, so I was working with Kurt and Chris and a couple other people, and I discovered that I might possibly have a horsehair allergy because we were tearing out like insulation, and it was horsehair, and I got started itching like it was my literal actual job. And it was also actually around this time that I met my previous ex, who I mentioned in previous videos. That's Abisarati Misati. Misati is me meeting her child for the first time. Seminde Paliati Yodati, Protsahayati Yodati, Durabasati Narakaroti Basati, Kartima Putran Karoti, Avaraksati Vardayati. Alright, so. I forget what Seminde is. But basically this talks about, after I met her, and like we started hanging out. By the way, she's the one who we had a long conversation with, and she told me I was quote, one of the people who find feathers, which I think means I'm a Zakuna Pacha, or a feather oracle, which literally means a lot of stuff actually. It actually is exactly why I saw those broken wings. And it also means that like whenever I find a feather on the ground, it means that I'm like on the right track in terms of like Via Karana? Maybe? I know it's one of those three. It's either Bhagya, Vaikarana, or Nayanti, but I'm pretty sure it's Vaikarana. Okay, I'm guessing that was either like Zakuna Pacha Atman or Vaikarana Atman, or both, making me nod there. A little bit of both. Good to know. Alright, fair enough. So, Paliati, watch over. Yodati, fight. So, around 4th of July, that's important. 4th of July keeps coming up. Very dumb way for Michael. Around 4th of July, I think actually on the 4th of July. Yodati, we were watching Fight Night, MMA. We were watching MMA. It was the thing. Protsayati, instigate. Yodati, fight. Dervasate, telephone. Nirakaroti, kick somebody out. Vasari, dwell. Katrima Putram Karoti, adopt a son. Avaraksari, safeguard. Vardhayati, rear. So, so this little idiot, Michael, literally actually, to set up a long game to try to slander me as having done the M-word on this child, instigated a fight between her and her father that led to her calling the cops on him and her getting kicked out, her moving in with me effectively adopting this child, and then rearing him for like 2 years. All the while, this idiot failure of an angel giggling that it's going to make me lose him. The entire time. Like an idiot, doesn't deserve to be called an a-hole, because that's too close to being referred to as a doula Pody. Yeah, I went there. Madyari, taking care of that kid was like being in heaven. It really was. Being a parent was like the single most rewarding experience of my life. Protsayati, Asari. Upatan Sayati, Padam Garodi, Smariati, Sidati, Banakti, Asati. So, once again, it instigated. Like killing someone. It instigated, it laughed, and it as a angel laughing, pushed a human who it set up to be ready to commit suicide. So it could push him. I'm talking about Cheyenne. and make sure by being an angel laughing at a human in despair that it killed him. Felt real powerful when you laughed Cheyenne to death, didn't you? You failure as an angel. Why? Because you felt powerful laughing that human to death. Yes! Yeah, that proves your failure, an angel. Smartyati, remind. When it reminded me, after it killed Cheyenne, that it did the same thing to my friend Hunter. Smartyati, when it reminded me that it did the same thing to Zach Marsh because it wanted to laugh at the fact it was still doing this. Right, you little idiot failure of an angel? Sadati, despair. What happened to my ex Victoria when that failure of an angel took her first love from him. I mean, took her first love from her, and him from her. It loved to do that. Banakti, shatter what it did to my ex. Hasadi, laugh what it did because it shattered her. Minatis Marati Dixayati. I need to backtrack a second and remember that before this, Victoria, who is a very, very strong medium, went through a number of initiations with me to help her control her gift. Protsahayati, instigate. Chaliyati, Yodati. Uramayati, 4 times. When it instigated by deluding my ex right after she was put into a vulnerable state by it murdering her first love, to delude her into thinking my mother had to be a threat to her son, instigated a fight and made all 4 of us lose our hearts. My mother, her, Victoria, myself, and my aunt. Because it saw that as a Herdaya Kadurda Babadi where I Jayati. Right, you little dick wazzle. Yes. Yes! Abisarati. Adi Karodi. Madyari. Vaya Padyari. Valena Kadyari Pata Karodi. Uramayari. Vaya Uramayari. Vaya Bakaradi. Praigachari. I met this young lady, had an Abisarati lover's rendezvous, during which Archangel Michael made a pledge to make sure that any children we had via padayati'd or aborted. So while we were in the middle of our Madhyati enjoying heavenly bliss together, it made that vow because it hated that so much. Balena Karyati, compulse Perthakaroti, sunder. Udamayati, twice, lose heart, me and her, because we were forced, in her case, not being able to even tell me to lose our children. Oh, wait a minute, that Madhyati might have been for her before her hope that she'd have children with me got trashed by Archangel Michael. Via Bakarati, Praigachari. Around this time, I got full-on pissed. I used a return curse to find out where the source of all this was coming from. Via Bakarati, practice sorcery. Praigachari, return. To return a curse. Specifically from the Drea Mikaheric book, the reversing a curse with water. Afterwards, Durabasate Moyati Vayakti Babadi Asadi Disiyati Mokayati Varam Date Vayapakarati Varam Date Vayapakarati. After which, The grandmother of that child, who ended up taking that child in afterwards, called the house immediately after the counter curse finished, freaking out, really confusing Vicky, because Brenda was saying that I'm his mother now and everything's different. Exactly the script that Michael wrote for her. Which Bhakti Bhavati reveal Hasadi with Michael laughing right after the counter curse made that happen. Then of course it was that idiot failure of an angel. That started my Dixayati Mokayati, my initiation in being a kleptomaniac because of failure of even acknowledging it's an evil angel. Decided it had a right to steal everything from me, and the gods had to initiate me to steal back my life. Varamdate. Offer a boon via Karate. This is when Joe Ball, cousin through a very distant relation to that young lady, taught me the Saint Expedite ritual. The same thing that Archangel Michael used to screw literally the entire world. Probably so it could try to blame Joe Ball for teaching me that ritual to begin with, like the dumb little coward Michael refuses to stop being. Varamdate via Karate. That's when Nicole Edgecombe lent me her Mott Magic book, probably completing a contract in the process. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to comment below.